for
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live once again. Phone lines are open. But yes, we are live once again. Welcome back to 414 Play, episode 4. No ligament damage, which for everybody here in Milwaukee is unbelievably great news. I'm Ludio1, Tommy here. I'm here with Brandon, the Milwaukee Game Collector, and Bradley Craw, a.k.a. Brad Craw, a.k.a. The Operator. Welcome back,
Yeah,
guys.
I'll be taking your calls. So if you guys need any requests, we'll be taking calls on the air. So
it's good to be back. I feel like we've been like we wanted to do it last week, obviously with the Bucks game. We had a little bit of priorities elsewhere, but it's also good to be back and doing it and diving in with you guys again.
Yeah, when we moved it to Wednesday evenings, our loyal fan base obviously will know that typically we're a Thursday night shop. But it's because of those Milwaukee Bucks friends that we've decided to make an educated move, we think, to Wednesday evening. So for all of our Wednesday evening viewers out there that are saying, what is this new and interesting show that's popping up on my Twitch channel? Just know, 414 Play Retro Gaming, here to talk retro video games amidst three pals, all of whom have an interest and a passion for the sport of retro video game collecting and playing. And that's kind of what we do. And tonight, big feature, racing games, which I can't remember the genesis behind it, except for it might have been one of the games that we got kind of spurred it on. But when we thought about racing games, we all kind of in unison thought, yeah, let's do that. Let's do more racing.
A little bit of racing. I want to say it started even like with something that you kind of added to your collection, which we'll jump onto in a little bit. And as a result, we debated a little bit of Cobra Triangle, a little bit of RC Pro-Am, and going way back. But we're going to bring it a little more recent, and we're going to go into some Project Gotham Racing Part 2 for the Xbox tonight.
that sounds really exciting, guys. I'm really stoked to see some of that gameplay tonight, and I just I missed you guys last week. I really missed you guys, and I'm glad we're back. And Wednesday night, I love it. Let's do it.
Bob is here with us as well in chat. Welcome, Bob. Good evening.
Bob.
Go.
So even before we get into the gaming, I'm excited. We kind of went through a little bit of the prep, and even just the traffic warning I loved as far as what that was. But is there anything you guys want to touch on, even just anything locally happening? Obviously, we got some really good news, hence the no ligament damage notice today. That I think was great news for any Bucks fan, especially long term, but even as we approach the finals and hopefully get through the Eastern Conference.
I have to say, I was scared of Lou Williams starting. I was scared of Lou Williams starting. He's a really good player. He's I think he's been in the league like 16 years, and he always just torches whenever he gets like some kind of opportunity like that. So when that happened, and then 3 Giannis air balls, I knew we were going to be in trouble no matter what. So
I mean, you gotta respect him. He dove in to try to break up the alley-oop, which might have been overachieving, but I mean that's effort. You can't get mad at effort.
No.
I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a basketball savant. I've watched a lot of years of hoops, and I will just say that the following was present in my mind last night. A, from the opening possession, you knew the ass Bucks team was out to play, because it's like if you watch this team enough, you just know if the high school team's showing up or if the NBA champion team's showing up. And from the moment they came on, it was clear it was going to be trash. Yeah. And it got to the point where I actually turned the game off at halftime because I actually was so angry I could feel it affecting my person, and I was like, this is too much. So I turned it off and then literally turned my phone off, rocked my son to sleep, did some reading, got myself right with the Lord, and then came back to a phone that had like 150 text messages about Giannis, about whatever, and the only inkling I had, and I was kind of ornery with my wife about it, was during my time of Zen reading, she said, it's a good thing you're not watching the Bucks game. And I was like, don't tell me that.
That's like the worst thing, like, oh my God, don't look at the movie screen right now. It's like, you want to look, like, it's so gory, don't look. And like
it was exactly that. And I'm like, because in my heart, I think if you gents remember, after game 1, I had said, I'm not watching any more of the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm like, there's no win than this. We should beat this team, and if we do, great. I already expected it. But if we lose, it will be the worst ever, almost worse than the Raptors, and that was bad 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I instead broke my promise to myself and have been watching this ass team, and it was just like, this is what's going to happen? You're going to come out like this? And I agree with you, BK. Lou Williams is a professional ball player. Like, all consummate pro. Like,
you don't win 6th man of the year, like, what was it, 3 years?
3 times.
Yeah.
By accident.
He's a stud. Came out of high school, by the way. Didn't even go to college. One of the first, not first dudes, but probably one of the only under 6'3" guys to come out of high school and play in the league. Maybe Monta Ellis.
That's trivia in and of itself. I mean, obviously, I think like KG, Kobe, Jermaine O'Neal, those were like 3 of the first. But I mean, Lou Williams probably, and maybe the most undersized that came right out of high school. Because I mean, even Mr. Bucks and 6 himself, Brandon Jennings, went to Europe for a year, I believe.
He did. I mean, I'm trying to think. It might have been Bassie Telfair, who was the only other kid I can think of that came out of the league.
Good reference.
Wow.
Yeah, hoops is my jam. But anyhow, I agree with you there. But this team is junk. I'm hopeful that I actually think we'll play better without Giannis. My 2 hot takes would be this: the Atlanta strip clubs are undefeated, so I have a real sneaky suspicion.
Eugene Robinson. Yeah.
I got a real sneaky suspicion.
We don't need to bring Eugene into the conversation.
And then other thing is, I think Chris Middleton hates Giannis. I just think I've seen the body language. I've been there, and I'm just like, I think they're going to play better. I think Chris is ready. I think Portis will be an adequate sub. So I'm optimistic actually that we might start playing our best basketball because the ball is going to keep moving. There's no more just ISO.
It requires coaching. I mean, I feel like that's the important thing. Despite any fire hashtags that anybody might see online, it requires coaching. Because we still, even without Giannis, have 2 Olympians.
Yeah. I mean, right when I saw the spread go from 4.5 to 9 or whatever, and I'm like, we are screwed. There's no way. I mean, when Trae Young, we knew Trae was going to be out or he was going to be limited, and I'm still like, okay, they still have a lot of good players, and we do this all the time where we have the peaks and valleys. I mean, Charles Barkley's been really, critical.
Guarantee. We need a guarantee button.
Yeah, I know, but he's dead on. It's just
put it on the show
we have these peaks and valleys.
We need a guarantee button.
Web Trade Bob, thank you for your comments. We agree. Thank you for allowing us to go into this Bucks diatribe during our retro gaming show. We're all huge Bucks fans, and it'll be really intriguing. Our team likes to play with a chip on their shoulder. They certainly have that narrative, for being trash. I mean, the Game 2 Brooklyn game I thought was the worst thing I'd ever see, followed by maybe Game 2 of the Raptors Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago. This last game against Atlanta, we literally played against a D-League team. I appreciate your kind commentary, Brad, about Atlanta, but they were literally junk across the board. Bogdan's hurt. Yeah, Lou's a professional. Gallinari is literally just a stick figure who can shoot, but he's totally immobile.
You got guys named Quantigu. Holiday, he's got nothing.
I mean, just all of them. Literally up and down the board, positions 1 through 7 of our roster. Every single player is better at every interval. All of them. And it's we are being out-coached, outclassed, out-efforted. Anything you want to throw at is junk. And that said, we still could win the championship, which is the worst part about it. Because you're we still have what we have.
And this is our best chance I think we've had in a while. I mean, when we were up 2 games against the Raptors, we thought we were already popping champagne bottles, and then we lost 4 straight. So I'm like, we've been here before. And
I remember leaving the district. I remember literally being at Game 2 or Game 3 about third quarter, and I left the district early because I was like, we're going to lose this fucking series. I'm like, you just saw it, and WebTrade mentioned it, you just saw it then. Oh, they're going to build a wall, and we're not going to change. We're going to literally run into that wall every game continuously until we lose the series, and that was very frustrating. And now I'm going our best player who the wall is built around is hurt. So hopefully, I mean, his defense is going to be missed. That is what that dude is, an absolute.
Offense,
But his offense has been junk too. I know the stats are there, but we all watch the games. Dude ISOs, Trae Young takes him one-on-one. he hasn't been able to get past the guy one-on-one but 6 times. Like, it's just crazy.
Let Trey, if you let Trey get his and he's not the playmaker, if he's just scoring and not getting other guys involved, we win. I mean, that's just kind of the fact.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, T-Fried. Web Train, I agree. PJ is going to be a beast, and even more so, dare I say, than his game, his shoe game. Did you guys see the Dolces he rocked?
I mean, he's like an international shoe like collector.
Oh yeah.
Right, like they're even bringing him in. Like Dolce and Gabbana had him. Like did some custom ones. Like his shoe game is literally on another level.
So WebTrain brings up a great point, which I think is worth mentioning about J. Rue and Chris bringing up the ball. That brings up like what seems to be the greatest issue we are dealing with, which I believe Atlanta knew 3 or 4 years ago, is Coach Bud. No disrespect, but the guy is known. He's a known entity, and we have been outcoached every game of the series. And it's interesting to hear not just the local narrative where people lambast him, which is what's going to happen whether you are good or not good. When you lose, you're going to get shit on. That's how it works. But the national media, Zach Lowe, all these people just be like, these guys are idiots. They are literally not doing any game planning. They are just literally doing the same thing over and over again. So I think you're onto that same point, because as a casual fan, you're going this plan's not working. There's just times when it's not working.
How do we feel about the terrible city?
Yeah. I think it's probably good, but I don't know. Whatever. He's not wrong for some of the reasons he's not wrong. I love Milwaukee as much as most, but we got problems like everybody else does.
Everybody. I mean, every city has its problems. I think Milwaukee it's got everything to offer that most big cities do, but also without a lot of the big problems too. Now, it's scaled, obviously, but it's I welcome the making Stephen A. come to Milwaukee because, hey, the finals are here, and deal with it for 7 games or whatever, 4 games or whatever it is. Yeah.
Is he the one that said it, or was it a co-host?
It was him and some I'm being silent to be polite, but for the female host of.
First Take.
Yes.
It was First Take. Okay.
And the former Tony Reale. Max Kellerman, used to offer really good insight. Started around the horn, solid boxing insight, and then it's just I feel like he sold out to be a wannabe Skip Bayless.
I mean, on that topic is one I also enjoy discussing. I have one show that I have watched basically since 8th grade on, literally in my life, and it is Pardon the Interruption.
Yes. And
I have such a love for that show that the amount that I am about it, I am equally against Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. I think all of those people are absolute morons. Most of all, Stephen A. Smith, who can speak eloquently. He has an ability to pontificate, but he's a fucking moron. Sorry,
Chris Bosh has no responsibility. Near the ball.
I mean, unfortunately, the sensationalized media is what really gets a lot of attention, and the bigger the moron you are, sometimes the more eyeballs you get on you to see what you're going to say, and it's a little bit more shock value. I think Wilbon and Kornheiser are just in a class by themselves, and obviously
legends.
Yeah, and they're just so much better than everybody else.
And
I love
Wilbon.
Wilbon
Brings up a good point.
They
do it for the troll value, to be controversial, to get clicks,
absolutely,
to get ratings, and I mean, so it was just kind of you can kind of see and understand the fact that they're jumping on that bandwagon for effect to some degree, but at the same time, come on, really, it's why we don't take the Skip Baylesses seriously. It's why we don't take the guys that just commenting for a hot take just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
They're awful. They're just awful to watch. When I go running at the gym and I see them on and the closed captioning's on, unfortunately I'll have to pay. And it's all just I don't know, opinion. It's all exacerbated. It's all yelling. And I agree with what you said, both of you guys. I think I grew up in listening to PTI and learned this is how you do it. I actually think I've been watching it so long now I can even see that it's not even real. They do such a good job, in my opinion, of making it seem so authentic. I realize after 28 years, it's like they've got a cadence to the way that they go about their things, but damn if it isn't really well articulated, if there isn't a push and a pull, if it isn't that like they're thoughtful. And I mean, it's just like, this to me is how you have dialogue. This is how you debate topics. They also bring an incredible amount of history, which I also feel is lacking from the Skip Bayless. I mean, maybe the time on the earth is the same, but I just believe like if you're going to have Mike Wilbon in a conversation in a locker room, I'm going to believe what he decides to say to me, or at least will share publicly. I'm like all in. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, they're in a class by themselves. It's not even worth. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
I mean,
other
it
guys
is
are just a bunch of
entertainment.
empty suits.
Speaking of entertainment, do you know what I also found is a great segue to be a very entertaining game? Project Gotham Racing 2 for the Xbox.
Is it because we were talking about First Take, which is out of New York, which is the quasi-city to Gotham? That could be. Why don't you load it up, Tom?
I
Yeah,
know
we
we're
can
going to
just-
load
let's
it
check
up.
it out.
We're going to jump into a little bit of gameplay. We can keep all this chat going, but let's get into the game and see what's going on. Turn on
Game
the
of the
good old Xbox. Let's see here. As always, if there's any audio issues or anything, by all means, please let us know in the chat. We're going to dive in. And as I mentioned, I do really appreciate the driving caution as Microsoft gives you as we learn.
I'd be curious if anybody out in the audience today played this game, Project Gotham Racing.
2! Gotham 2!
Oh, Gotham 2. Okay.
Gotham 1 had the better soundtrack. Gotham 2, better cars. And honestly, I picked 2 tonight, selfishly, because I wanted to rock the end zone.
Sweet.
The vehicle driving depicted herein may not be realistic and is potentially dangerous in real life. Do not try these driving maneuvers in real life. Please obey real traffic laws.
It reminds me of like the Cops intro back in the day. Like, these are the stories of the... Or no, maybe it was Law and Order or whatever.
No, it was
These are
cops
stories.
too.
Yeah, cops.
Oh,
have
all
something-
suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Yeah. Some of these people are not even cops.
What you want to do?
Oh, they're even showing us the end zone to tease the game. I love it.
Wow. Enzo Ferrari.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
I want to say there was a few other, like, you could really pick some diverse cars in here. Like, there were pickup trucks. I don't remember where I was as far as unlocking cars in the game. We're going to kind of find out as we jump into the garage again.
Yeah. Look at that displacement mapping. Sorry to nerd out with visual effects here for a second, but look at that displacement mapping on that 3D render.
I thought the
Yeah.
same.
Where is he? That's my one Christian Bale for the day.
No,
Where's-
that's the
where's my
first of the day.
Ferrari?
That's the first of the day.
Yeah.
Where is the Enzo?
Where is it?
Clown shoes.
Did you guys ever hear the story about how Eddie Griffin apparently crashed one of the few Enzos that existed?
Wait, like the basketball player Seton Hall Eddie Griffin or the comedian?
The comedian, I bet.
Comedian Eddie Griffin, like from Malcolm and Eddie.
Wow.
Yeah, because Eddie Griffin died, so I was like, I don't know, he lived a pretty wild life. I was like, maybe he did something crazy.
Apparently I did pretty well at some point getting 2 platinum medals. It's been forever since I played this game.
I learned on a podcast I was listening to this week that in like RuneScape, either you guys ever play RuneScape? I never did.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently, you know, you can like level up in different criteria. And this dude was like, oh, I just reached level 99 Fire Maker. Which apparently means that in RuneScape, if you throw wood in a fire for 60 hours, like the motion on a game,
Tap the button constantly.
yes, then you can become a level 99. And he was saying that the point of like being that is so that you can like show that you are willing to spend 60 hours of your life doing this like remedial task. And I was just like, whoa.
Wow.
Something didn't, no, it was one of the documentaries we were talking about. I don't know if it was on air in a previous episode or just in between time, but it was like a Netflix documentary where there was something where the game literally just rewarded people for hitting the button. And it was just like, exact same console. Like, the only way you could win was just to keep hitting the button and spending actual life. There was no actual something other than that counter, essentially.
You know, I'm really disappointed. I have 40 people who have seen the Instagram story. Not a single one of them have joined. What kind of
I'm posting right now here. Hopefully, I'm a little...
Instagram friends do I have?
Bob brings up a good point. The startup sound bringing back so many memories. And honestly, like, even if you think back to the consoles or whatever, like, it was just one of those things where it was like the Sega sound, the Xbox loading up, the PlayStation chimes.
Yeah. I mean, this really takes me back to the days when I used to just crush hours in those endurance races for, what was it called? Gran Turismo. And you had to, like, obtain the licenses and everything, just, like, throwing my controller across the room. Well, really against, like, soft objects, like my bed and other pillows. When I would fail the licenses after a while, like, they had international licenses and all that stuff.
Well, you were a good kid, so you wouldn't learn.
Yeah.
All right, so I think I'm gonna start with some street racing. We obviously have to use certain cars right now. When you see a car you like, let's not pick the Camaro SS because it was what I do remember of this game. It's steered terribly. It had very bad handling. Street Race 2, the SVT Mustang Cobra, the Honda NSX Type R, Skyline GTR, Honda S2000, the Porsche 911 Carrera Coupe, Ferrari 275 GTB, which I'm wanting to vote for just for Gone in 60 Seconds references alone, or the Ferrari Dyno 246 GT.
I'd go GTB.
I'm thinking the GTB as well. What do you think, Nico?
Yeah, I think player's choice, but that sounds pretty sexy.
Hashtag player's choice. I approve.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting to that comment on the startup sound? Like, I would agree. I think the nostalgia really, like, especially for people who haven't maybe heard it for a minute, like, it strikes a particular chord. But also, yeah, you know, usually, like, I'll say, like, my stuff is booting up on, like, a Sonos Play Bar or a Sonos whatever. Like, the audio quality that you're hearing it come in at is probably so different than even probably what you may have heard it at growing up. Because, like, I'm doing all these videos that my family did like 25 years ago, and I got them digitized, and I'm like editing them all, and one of them was the 8th grade dance. And like I was reminded that I had like 8 dudes to my house after the 8th grade dance, and we were playing NBA Live 96 on my PC. And it's like that might be the last time in the audio and quality that you played the game. So it's like to hear it now on like modern, you know, audio is probably a even greater experience. It's crazy.
For sure.
Alright, we're going to change gears a little bit. I gotta finish popcorn. Clearly relearning the courses of the game. 4-6 though. The thing I really like about this game, especially
Yeah, what's the retail value on this vehicle in the real world?
a little less right now. Oh, I forgot the pool system. Bonus points for anybody watching before you, Jim. You remember the game that this was originally based on? It started on
It started on the which system? On the Dreamcast? Crazy Taxi? Looking at Dreamcast.
Wait. Do I hear Rikishi's WWE music playing?
No.
Oh, bad. trying to remember. Hey, what do you guys want to look up? How to check the radio of what's playing? Sounds like the key she's done. He'd be like, when he's like, I ran over Stone Cold for the Rock. I did it for the people.
All right, Project Gotham Race 2.
2!
Soundtrack.
Are you in first place, Tommy?
No, I'm in 5th. Dude, I'm running into walls constantly. I'm way down because I'm forgetting how.
Is there a drift? Is there a drift feature?
Yeah, it's but like with some of these sharp turns, like, see, there's how you drift. And
Ooh, we got
that's how
we got some good songs on the soundtrack here. We got The Used, we got Trapped, we got Glassjaw, The Flaming Lips.
Trap was, I don't remember the Trap song.
Still Frame.
Yep.
And then the
Was
guy.
Hey There Delilah on this one?
There's no way Hey There Delilah is
Dude,
one of the
I
options.
really want to say Delilah was on one of these.
Wow,
There's
they
no
have
way.
a lot of songs. There are a lot of songs. Unless I'm on like some kind of
None of
other-
which are Hey There Delilah, because that would
Yeah.
be the greatest thing ever if you're just driving through Gotham with Hey There Delilah.
I don't know why, dude. I forgot how to change this.
You are touching up some walls, I will say.
This is a very, for whoever wants to buy GTV, it's very sturdy.
It looks cool.
Yeah, what's the retail value on that?
Yeah. Good slide, and we lost all of it.
Wow, that was a good slide. I'm a couple seconds behind it. So.
This is somehow the WWE still playing. This is clearly, I want to say Stacey.
Was it one of those games where you could like import a playlist and maybe in a while
Probably
back?
from whatever's left on my Xbox.
Oh man, I remember those days with the PlayStation where you could play like.
What was the best soundtrack where you like randomly put into a game and it sounded
Oh man.
Oh man.
I know I did it for one. I don't remember what it was. I want to say like the Men in Black CD. I can't remember which one I did.
I wouldn't say I remember playing Ridge Racer where you could put the game in, it would load, and then you could put in your own CD, and I think it was the soundtrack for like kids, like folk implosion, like I'm one natural, one take it easy, and like just cruising through the city, Ridge Racer. Do you remember that? You guys remember that soundtrack? Kids soundtrack?
Nope.
No.
I got nothing.
You don't know
Just
folk
aficionado.
implosion?
How
Damn.
do we get this
Am I that much
soundtrack
older?
so I can see what's playing?
Yeah.
I heard a song today that I really liked, and it was by Rise Against. And I was like, is this the Rise Against? And it was. And they just made
Well,
an
they had
album.
three
It's
good
like,
ones. Like I remember they had three. It was a rock band back, oddly enough.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah,
we
I remember-
change the station of this thing?
I don't know. That's all you. Player's choice. I don't know.
I mean I will. I just don't know if it's in the pause menu or at least let's pick a different WWE theme other than Stacy Keibler's. I mean I'm not mad.
yeah, the importing of music into
And back
games
in the day, but
was great. And it reminds me of, and I don't remember if this was just for PC, but I remember like for those NBA games, like back in the day, that they just started doing the facial import, which was, I mean, absolutely comedic to think and look back on at this point. But like, to try to do it was impossible. You had to like try to take a picture with your terrible old webcam, should you have one, and then like connect the points on your ear and your nose and your. I mean, it was like legit 3D render modeling for the time, and I was like 9, and you're just like, okay, got it, But like, did you have any PC stuff where you had to try to like design your face?
So I found the sound options, and we're gonna go to the actual Gotham soundtrack. But to your point, there was actually talk of doing it for. Remember Perfect Dark for 64?
Oh yes, get the case.
There was talk of using the Game Boy camera, like being able to port it in via some Rumble Pack type thing in the 64 controller, where you could scan your face and import it into the game as one of the game characters. Now they, I think, abandoned it because of how much work it would have taken. But it was like, I mean, to me that would have been the coolest thing, being able to do that, and in a James Bond, in a GoldenEye, in a Perfect Dark type game.
Mm-hmm. Have your own avatar. Grabbing the case. That was such a great game.
Looking back though, because like the graphics were so bad, like no matter what you did, the thing wasn't looking like it. So like the whole effort must have just been like a developer being like, well, hey, we can do this, we should do this, and it's like, but it's wild. I feel like one of my favorite things is seeing the LeBron, this is where they started things, because it's like he came in like NBA Live or something, 2005 or 2003, and like it still had the blocky look, and now they're like showing him, and it's and PS5 stuff. And you're like, during LeBron's tenure, it went from this to this, which is crazy.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Vince Carter. Like Vince Carter at the start of his career, at the end, it's just it's amazing how far it's come.
I think don't ever doubt yourself.
Pretty solid song.
Ooh, that's another great game that we'll have to get into eventually.
It looks really rigid. It's looking like...
Yeah, it does handle like the yellow Ferrari in the race we're wearing. A lot of acceleration, not much traction on the wheel.
Only going 120 miles an hour. Figure out this turn.
I mean, is it just so realistic? They're saying like, no, you need to be going 40 in order to make the turn. As we were jumping into this, I was...
Oh, look at that!
Remember, we're on delay, so we don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good turn. You would have passed the license test in Gran Turismo.
How did you do that, Tommy?
Wow.
How or why?
How?
No, why did you do it?
More handbrake. More handbrake.
Yeah, give us some more of that.
I mean, they're in Gotham, I think,
I'm sure they've seen some things.
Just par for the course there. Now, maybe remind me, because I didn't play this as much. What is the tie-in to, like, the DC world, or is there any tie-in to, like, Batman, etc.? Or is it just...
Not DC, Green.
Okay.
So, the original Green Test, I want to say, was Robbers. Like, basically another way of saying but it was something, because I remember, like, my brother and I, I'm gonna go to the cone race because I'm sucking at this. But yeah, like we broke one of the Xbox controllers because it was forever pinned down because we were turning so hard.
Oh,
Just kidding. Let's do that.
I mean,
that's dedication right there.
Car challenge. Why not?
be right when you logged in, though, it showed that you had had a great amount of success.
Yeah, I did something right to some point. As you can see, like, I'm going to jump into the time attack. You'll see some of the cars I've unlocked. Oh, the Speed 12. I totally forgot about that. That was the one. It was the one car I remember, like, where it had the color-changing paint.
Ooh. I can't recall. Do they have, like, endurance races in this one, too?
Can I unlock this car? There were cone challenges where you can unlock stuff. Like, it's a little bit of... I wasn't sure exactly, like, how you did it or whatever. Oh, see? Oh, I can test drive stuff. The Delfino Feroce. Mercedes CLK GTR. I'll wait till you guys catch up. Let me know when you're in the garage.
Oh, yeah. I'm in there.
I kind of like the idea of the Celine, but, you know.
See what else we got in the garage. The 911 GT. Ferrari 250 GTO. This is the one I want. Why can't I just... Come on, just show me the car. It was that purple iridescent paint job.
Mmm.
Dude, this reminds me of... I actually get to walk through this garage.
Wow, look at that.
Bonus.
Could you imagine walking on the street like this? Just like straight and then turning.
It's a way of life.
See, I think this is where the pickup is. So, okay, yeah, there's a GT, there's an old-ass Mustang. This beauty, which you'll see in just a moment, I'm not even gonna... I'll wait till we get to it, because I see that we're just a second behind.
Are you talking about the Focus or the GT40?
The Focus.
I'd go with the GT40 over the Focus, probably, Tommy.
It's like,
Dude, try to find
Just player's choice.
you got a GT40, a Mustang Fastback,
Or a
the
Buick
Lightning
Century.
truck, the GT, the Mustang. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with the Focus.
I realized the other day, like, hey, go try to find a Ford Taurus. You probably can't. Like, all those cars are gone. Quite sad.
It is.
Where's my Enzo? I want to find my Enzo. We'll take that out on the test track.
And do we know what the retail value is on an Enzo Ferrari? I mean, there's a limited amount in the world, right?
Yeah. And I think quite a few of them have been crashed already, which is kind of sad. Oh, here we go. Ferrari Special PDR. Hello, friends. Can you imagine if, like, this was your garage?
I think about that every single day, Tommy. How I can get my garage full of Ferrari and Ford Taurus.
For the diversity.
Yeah. Maybe throw in a Buick Century.
I'm telling you, try to find it.
That was the Orgasmobile.
That was my Orgasmo. I forgot about that movie. That was my first car. I had the Buick Century. Yeah.
Man, some of these cars are awesome.
Yeah, what are you going to go with?
Well, Oh,
Keep
there was
walking
the
the halls.
other TBR. It was the green one, not the purple one. Speed 6 was pretty solid too. Like, especially how they did the headlights, which you'll see in a second. Like,
Mhm.
into this. Sorry to be spoiler, I forgot him a couple seconds ago. The Lotus.
I liked Lotus. Those are nice.
How many posters of these cars did we have?
Oh man. I think I don't know if I had any Lotus. I do remember the E-Spirit, and what was the smaller version that Lotus was well known for? The Roadster? Or what was it?
I only knew the Spirit.
Yeah, because I know the Tesla Model S or something was modeled after either the E-Spirit or like the Roadster. The Roadster, the Tesla Roadster is modeled after a Lotus.
So I always thought it was a Lotus Esprit. Am I wrong on that?
I don't. Is it Esprit or E-Spirit?
I would always call it like ESPRY is how I would say it verbally, but I don't actually know what's correct.
I mean, I played this game when I was like 13 for, what was it? Gran Turismo?
You can see
Or
we're
Project
going into the
Gotham.
Ferrari
So.
room right
Ooh, hello.
now. God, is this
Oh, Dan Lucen hopped on into the chat. He's back from picking up
Oh.
some insane pinball stuff. Says Tommy's being too quiet.
Yeah, he's really concentrating on his
I'm
next vehicle
admiring the
selection.
beauty of these cars, and I'm trying to figure out where the hell the end zone is in this damn garage that I built. But I will turn my mic up in case that's what you want.
Oh, that's probably true.
Was it just me being silent, or was it me being quiet, man?
He said he couldn't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Speak into the mic with your good mouth.
Which is a good
Speaking to
mic.
the mic.
Hello? Hello, friends. We're in this Ferrari garage at the moment. What's the British
Ciao,
British
ragazzi.
driving show?
Yeah.
It
How many
feels
find-
like maybe this
Where
is
the hell was
time
the end
for
zone
our
kept
first
in this?
caller.
My car garage
Yeah.
is too big. Where's the damn end
Hold
zone?
on. Hold on a second.
Make the phone ring. We got a landline phone.
Hold on a second here.
You're gonna wake your parents up.
You're live with 414 Play. Welcome, caller.
Tell us what's the most fun game you ever
What
played.
the hell is this? We got a Volvo. We got an SUV in the game.
Hello, you're on the air with 414 Play. How can I help you? Yes. Yes, we are playing Project Gotham 2. We're trying to make a vehicle selection. Do you have a request about what vehicle you might want to see? Tommy, there are no Buick Centuries, you sure?
Oh, dude, the end zone's black. It was literally straight ahead.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, there you go. Manual. That's are you gonna
Ooh,
crash
that
this
car looks
car?
good.
That's a nice
Most
car.
likely.
I want to see some tight turns here.
Getting the handling back a little bit. Taking this turn at 80-ish.
I want to see a lot of A button, a lot of handbrake.
There's the...
Wow.
And remind me, did you say, or was it accessible that you had some older racing games also?
I'm trying to think what I had in the Xbox. What was the one that came with it? It was something with Jet Set Radio. Oh, he's learning it. He's learning it, peeps.
I think you're doing really well.
Oh, I think we got another call. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but let's go to the phones.
Dude, how do you answer that phone without a cord if it's a landline?
That's right. No, I'm just, Tony, this is more of a prop at this point. This is my actual cell phone.
We need
But
a
we're
better
gonna act
prop.
like
We
it's
need
a
a
real
prop
phone.
phone.
Yeah. No, there is no ligament damage. Yes. Yeah, the Bucks have a chance. We'll see. They said you're doing a really good job, Tommy. You're racing, very good racer.
I've only hit 2 walls this entire test course.
I would really like a landline phone prop from your pops, Brad, to just like pick up with the.
You know what, BT, I can do something for you right now. Just give me 1 second.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Wait, is it supposed to rain, Dan? Because I did not cover up my patio furniture.
It was
And
raining a
there's-
little bit here, like when we started the show, dude. Yes!
Hello,
Yes!
Mickey Mouse
We have
Club.
callers.
Okay.
Now we have callers.
All right. Yes, this is the Mickey Mouse Club. What notable vehicles did Disney create? I'm
Please
curious.
just keep that at all times in view. Put it on your back. Somewhere that needs to live.
Bob,
Okay.
wasn't Jet
Mickey, I don't know if
Moto
you
like
can see him.
roller skates or something like that?
Jet Moto, yeah. I do remember Jet Moto. That was a good one.
Or was that the Jet Set one that I'm thinking of? That was like a
think it
roller
might
skate
be.
crew or something like that.
Dude, Brad, that phone's probably worth $6,000. Like,
You're probably right.
I don't know if I can thank the people if they're on, but after our first or second show when they connected me to the pinball, the guy in Minneapolis, my friend sold her Gotham Knight pinball machine and Galaga Pac-Man combo at a very fair price, and the guy came and picked it up. She said he was super nice, so if I could thank the person who helped connect the dots on that, I would love to get that message to them, because they got my friend's arcade sold.
Oh, Jet Moto. Oh, that was the one where you could. Jet Moto was the one where you could jet ski, like he's saying. That was the one where you could go off ramps and stuff, right? It was like, I want to say it was a demo disc, and like you could jump around and do different stunts, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's fun. Now we're gonna do a cone challenge.
Dude, Dan got a periscope. A periscope.
How many?
I want to know more about why someone owns a periscope.
A car periscope?
I don't know. I'm thinking of submarine periscope, but what do I know?
No, wasn't car periscope? What was it? Curb Your Enthusiasm, where you could see the traffic ahead of you and you could figure out how to get around it. And it was a genius invention that Larry
That sounds about
somehow
right.
offended the guy and got out of.
Yeah, Mickey needs to live.
Yeah. So you think you get about 6,000 for this?
I can't imagine. Oh, I'm going on eBay and finding out right now. I bet you that thing goes for a butt ton of money.
Oh yeah. And the arm
There's
goes down.
no way. I mean, I will say there's a lot of Disney stuff, but that's like pretty nice. So a Mickey Mouse landline phone, huh?
Yeah. Still with all the Mickey Mouse charm to it. So.
All right, we're gonna dive into this cone challenge 1. If it's 1, I should be able to do it. With a
We make
simple
bets on
Regal
this?
Spider.
Yeah. What's the spread right now? Are we? Can we bet via Venmo or crypto?
I mean, maybe I lied. Right now there's one that has a starting bid of $55 with $24 shipping, and it has no bids so far. So maybe it's not worth that much money.
What does the shoe phone go for? The Sports Illustrated shoe phone.
Oh my gosh, the shoe phone. Forgot about that. I'm gonna have to look these up. Sorry, Nick, I have to put them away for a second.
It's like just so surprising to me that there's no, you can't even find anything. Nobody's bidding on it.
Dude, how are
No
you supposed to
bids.
even get through these at any speed? This car doesn't have
Don't sell your phone, Brad.
Ooh, used. How much used on Etsy? Don't look it up either. Alright, $48. Up to $200.
Mm-hmm.
It was in 1970s.
I know, 76? Pretty crazy.
Price $110.
At the time? Or you could
I
sell
don't
it.
know. I'm just looking at all the questions that are associated with the Google search. What year did the Mickey Mouse phone come out? 1978. Mickey Mouse phone was first introduced by Post Office Telecommunications, the forerunner of BT, in 1978.
Driver was a great game, Bob. I totally agree. Driver was, that in a lot of ways, that plus the original, which we should totally, now that I even think of it, he reminded me. Yes, well played, well timed, sir.
I don't know if this is the original, though.
Yes, it is.
That's my only curiosity, is it?
Yes. Driver came out on PS, that was the first one.
So
that was kind of like that plus, remember the original Grand Theft Auto? It was like this top view.
Yep.
Like they put those two games together, and I feel like that's what GTA 3 came out of.
So it's interesting Bob mentions this game. I, again, played it first on PC, and I think I've mentioned before, one of my, favorite memories of PC gameplay was when my graphics card would fritz out and eventually the entire landscape would just turn to white because it was just dying. And that would happen all the time in Driver because, I would just go off a bridge and, the screen would just turn white and I would fly off into infinity. The other thing I remember about Driver was the first section you have to pass 8 tests in this underground parking garage, you may recall.
Yeah.
And it's really effing hard. I know I'm not the greatest video game player, but oh my god, so hard. To the point when I got this game, just recently, I had to go to YouTube to watch people pass the first level just to show myself how to do it. It was crazy hard, and I'm just what? Literally just to get to the first thing, dude. It's absolutely wild. But yeah, I would agree with Bob. Hardest first level of any game. That'd be tough to beat that. It is incredibly hard. So, I also am loving on the inside of the driver manual. Need a hint? Call this number. Gotta wonder if you call it up right now, who's there?
Are you
saying? It is a 1-900, so maybe it was just a money-making scheme. And I'm glad he brought it up, because I wasn't actually sure if it was a racing game either, but I wanted to bring it out. Let's look at the
Bronze
manual.
medal awarded. What?
Wow. Well done.
Tommy's steadily improving.
Terrible. That deserves 0 credit.
All right, we're going to take it away.
I drove like an old person through that cone course.
Wow, still has the no reply thing inside of the manual here. Got a nice copy. of this.
Do you remember that the Grand Theft Auto for PlayStation? It had this English version where you could get a tank and the Austin Powers car and everything too.
That was GTA 3?
No, that was it was either 1 or part of Grand Theft Auto 2. It kind of had this
Bros.
Oh, come on, that was almost a perfect one.
If you entered this contest, you could have a WWF person come to your house. Please tell me that there's information on the interwebs about the winner of this contest. It's from Castrol GTX.
Here's the question. Which superstar would you have invited to your house?
What era?
So this was 99.
Oh, that's Attitude Era, so you're talking Austin Rock, those guys. It had to be
You would think so, right? But
So,
I would probably, in the true nature of this show, I'd probably have to vote Kevin Nash over just to throw Justin Bieber about 25 feet across.
Bieber wasn't even born, bro.
I know, it's crazy. I always try to fit it in.
What? Dude, I found this. You guys will appreciate this. I think everybody will appreciate this. If not, you should. How beautiful is this? Have you figured out the way to display it yet?
Remember, we're on lag. So we won't see it when we get back. Oh, look like a little title belt.
Oh, wow. Is that the Intercontinental Championship? European Championship. Wow. It's very impressive.
Throw it over while I erase this next one. Like another old person.
Oh, hell yeah. There you go.
All right, let's see. Let's try it once more. I got a silver. How did I get a silver?
There's only one more.
To get a silver.
Yeah, there's only one more medal to get there, Tommy.
Oh no, there's gold and platinum. I remember.
Oh, there is platinum. That's right.
The fact that I even did something on medium, having not played this game in years. Oh, I have to earn at least 1,000 kudos driving with style. I feel like we can do that. Let's do it. I think the belt will do it alone. I'm going for gold with double gold.
Yes.
He's going the distance.
Yes, he's going for speed. He's not alone. He's got some homies with him. Welcome to Sydney.
How do I get to my... Oh, options. Let's get some WWE music. We were just talking about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Music up all the way. No, not Ghost Manager. It's clearly the first time I've not done it.
What's up, vegetarian meathead? I agree. Bucks and 6.
Bucks and 6. Fucking frickin' Bucks. Don't talk about the Bucks anymore.
Have to tune back in for the recorded version.
Only gonna watch tomorrow just in the hopes that
Yeah.
frickin' Middleton goes off.
Yeah.
RPG. Wow, this is a throwback.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. What?
Because when Sable came out and had the hand thing on her face as a trainer, that was one of the greatest moments I could have ever asked for, really.
Yeah, was that like a pay-per-view maybe?
Interesting, when you Google Sable, there's actually a species of marten, a small omnivorous mammal that is called a sable.
They hunt them in Siberia for, like, their living. Random documentary knowledge, I don't know why I remember.
Referring to the sable, which is in the mountains of Siberia. Why, Tommy? Why? Why is that something in your mind that you know?
Fountain of useful knowledge.
No, that might be the most random nail of a hint I've ever heard in my entire adult life. Like, I'm looking at the Wikipedia summary, and as I scroll down, it says the Ural Mountains of Siberia, as you say. I'm pretty sure they're in Siberia. Like, what?
Fountain of useful knowledge. You're welcome, everybody. Ludio lessons continue throughout the week.
I just can't. That's too much for me. Yeah, she was hot. Now she's 53. That's something. She lives in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Saskatchewan, Canada? With her beau?
Yeah.
Brock?
That's 06. She's 5'6", $120. She retired in 04.
Wow. Well, I didn't know Brock was Canadian.
No, he's
Was
North
that?
Dakota.
North Dakota.
Or Minnesota.
Close enough.
One of the two, if you give that accent. Odin.
Oh, that's right. He went to Minnesota. Yeah, University of Minnesota, right?
Rena Greek was her name.
Rita Merrill. She was married to Mark Merrill, who was the wild man.
Wow.
She was in Playboy. Oh, her first
What song
husband.
was this? Oh, yeah! This is a
First
Hardy,
husband
right?
died in a drunk driving
Matt
accident.
Hardy.
Whoa, what?
This is Matt Hardy's movie.
A lot to unpack here, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, I was doing well that one. What the hell? It's too slow.
Did the belt get it done, though?
Hold on, we gotta get rid of this Stacy Keebler song again. Dudley Boys.
The Dudley Boys.
That's RVD again.
Crazy.
How about some old Timbaland from the soundtrack? Why not?
Vegetarian Meathead, what's up in your world? Thanks for stopping by tonight. I always, when I see your name come on, think, that's a really good Twitch name. If you're still around. Respect. So it's funny you're playing this one when I forgot this was also on my brain. The Need for Speed Underground.
Oh, yeah.
Need for Speed had a lot of really good games.
They did. I like the Underground. It's funny, I do like, when I'm bored, I'll do like a CIV auction search on eBay. So like, see if there's anything I should spend needless money on. And there was a duo tonight of Need for Speed Underground and one other that was actually had some bids on it. So I'm like, that's cool.
That's cool.
Otherwise,
Have you guys ever seen the Need for Speed movie with Aaron Paul?
I don't think I have. Is that Jake Paul's brother?
No, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
From what's his name?
Yeah, Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. I actually met him outside of a bar in Chicago like 8 years ago, 10 years ago probably at this point, right when season 2 was underway for Breaking Bad and nobody knew who he was. I remember going into the bar. I was with like 5 people. It was like a Friday night, Lollapalooza, and we were all going to the spot. And then this dude's just hanging outside smoking a cigarette, and this like one kid's talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, thanks man." And all my friends were like, "Who is it?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, that's Aaron Paul." They're like, "Who?" I'm like, "From Breaking Bad." I'm like, "Dude, you guys ever watch Breaking Bad?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Dude, the show's awesome." And then I talked to Jesse Pinkman. I talked to Aaron Paul for like 5 minutes. We were talking about some of the bands, and he was just like, "Thank you." I'm like, "Dude, Breaking Bad, you're doing an awesome job on it." And he's like, "Thank you." Super chill. So it was pretty cool.
Pull the Lotus out of the garage for me.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yes, the East Spirit is Spirit. How do you say it?
You can't decide. I think it's Lotus Esprit, but I don't know.
I think that's probably right, because the 12-year-old version of myself, the moron.
Half that story. The rest of this is good.
Boy, not much on the CIB market tonight, fellas.
I did
Brad, do you think in your new house you'll have interest in retro game collecting, or do you think you'll stay a non-physical inventory gamer?
I don't know. It's hard to say right now. I mean, we're going to have to take care of a couple essentials, but in time, I think we're going to have a good space to do something. I do have
the interest,
pile of games.
You think you'd have the interest in like retro game collecting, or does it not have that pull for you?
I mean, I am more interested in like playing the games and like I don't know, like I have all the retro systems that are all modded. I don't know. I used to have like all these games and I would just pour hours into them. So I don't know. I might I'll kick that idea around when we move in. But I'm kind of my collection just pale in comparison to your new setup. And I don't know, it's a little intimidating, so I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of decisions to make too.
It is interesting because like I don't play, unfortunately, anything. Like I think I popped in Hang Time the other day because I had bought that, which was fun, really fun. And I tried South Park the other day.
How'd you like it?
South Park, I thought it was cool. I mean, it was like, you throw snowballs at turkeys is kind of like the starting point. And I mean, it was cool. I like hearing again, like, I like as much as anything just watching the video intros, kind of to what the gentleman was saying earlier, like the sound, like it's just nostalgic to see some of, even in that game, the way that the characters were portrayed and how it's changed over time. I'm not like an avid South Park watcher yet still, but like, I know that things have developed over 20, 30 years. So I like that, Chef and these different people, how they were represented back then. I like kind of seeing that.
Speaking of sound, Dan is saying that the music and game sound is a little loud compared to us.
We'll jump back in the chat after Good breaks, really good breaks.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It'd be interesting to see if you got the itch.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel bad. I'm selling like all these games when I was a kid to buy like the new system. I always kind of went through the different systems to buy the new systems, and man, I'm very impressed. The new setup is pretty baller.
There's just no like, I never ever kept a box. You know what I mean? Like everything I have now, it's not like I'm going, in my head, like, oh, this is what I had. I didn't have anything. So it's just kind of funny that, like, I like collecting that way, but I just love the artwork, and I just, it's, like, so displayable. I know we're not in the buy-sell section yet, but I actually just today, off of Etsy, bought these display holders from a place on Etsy, which I'm pretty stoked about, to display the PS2, PlayStation, Dreamcast games, because Tommy's got the belt back. I don't know. It's just the display. It's the artwork. It's like a little museum. But
like I said, you will be contacted at some point. It will happen as one of the larger private collections of retro games. So I'm looking forward to those days. I mean, you're a retro game curator, and it's only going to get better. Your collection is just going to grow, and that's going to happen. You're going to be approached. They're going to be like, people need access to your collection. It's gonna happen. I just don't think I'm ever going to get to that point. I mean, I had all these games when I was a kid, but I don't know if I can see my wife would be like, why are we buying all these video games when we
you can't tell your wife.
A reverse osmosis water machine? Like,
don't tell your wife. Don't talk about costs. Don't talk about any of that. No. That's not allowed.
Sure. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. It's gonna be a nice new display. I mean, in early August when they get moved in and get all the furniture set up, it's gonna be definitely better than what is happening down here. But I mean, probably
are we all good jumping back into the jam session? Taking a break from the Gotham racing, me crashing into cones.
It would be interesting to see, Brad, if you decided, like, I think for me, probably the interest started with having, like, a media room, like a place where I could watch a movie in surround sound, and then, like, just kind of filling it, and it coincided, like, in a nice timely fashion with video game collecting. But it would be, like...
Yeah.
You could do loose cart if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like,
this is what I will tell you. Sorry to cut you off. This is what I will tell you what I think would be really cool for, like, kind of what I do, some kind of artwork inspired by, like, a retro video game. Like, I saw some really cool, like, prints of the Super Mario World, Super Nintendo, like, map.
Yeah.
Like, this big blow-up, like, on a metal, like, a piece of metal. It was such a cool... depiction of the Super Mario World map, and like things like that I thought would be super cool to like feature in some way in the new house, because there's so much more room, and kind of like those are the pieces that I would like to have, because I mean you're crushing the retro gaming. I have no way I can compete with your collection, and at this point I would probably do a little something different where I could feature like some modern art pieces that are influenced by like retro gaming. I think that would be super dope.
Have you seen there's the Mario World map of the world map where they like used the SNES graphics for all the
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that was like such a cool idea, and I think it was like on a like a metal piece of metal or something like that.
I agree with Dan as well. Not a competition. Just get what you like, do what you do. I mean, and I think we've kind of touched on it before too, where it's like we all kind of bring something. Like one of us will have something. We're like, oh my god, that's awesome. And then like I'll see something Brandon has. I'm like, dude, we're like, where did you get that? And like, it just kind of continues that conversation that way. Like,
hmm Yeah, like I love that the signed Mike Tyson print that I have. You know, you got the same one, Tommy, right? And just
I
like
have
love.
two. Not to be braggadocious.
I mean, you're kind of bragging, but it's kind of well earned. So
But no, it's because you have the ring one, right? Where he's like this.
yeah, I might just have to go grab it quick.
Because I have
So
that one, and I also have the box art where he autographs like the NES box art.
Oh yeah, I remember you showing me that too. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's interesting. It'll be curious to see like how you feel out the house. Obviously, what Mary has to say. Like, you know, there's a lot of like components of the stuff. I think my inspiration and love came from a lot of just the gaming room setup stuff on Instagram. We do have a question to answer from Dan in a minute too, so think on that as I blabber on. But you know, it just was like, it's just cool. It's just like art in a way. And one thing I feel like is becoming more clear to me, particularly as this new shelving came in, is like the display. Like to genuinely see it laid out horizontally is kind of like, I feel like even more important to me at the moment, just because like you can actually see the art, see the colors, see the full like landscape, which I think is really interesting. So
did you build the shelves? I meant to ask.
It's a good presentation.
Yeah, they do look great.
No, I was on the hunt for stuff for forever because I needed really specific dimensions because I wanted to put it behind this couch because I knew there was like unused space, and I needed it to be like less than 9 inches but under 28 inches high, and I needed it to fill like 70 or 80 inches wide, and like so that's just like a bookshelf. But then it was like I just went through a ton of looking, and I actually went to Hobby Lobby to buy another thing that I had finally found online, because the other thing is all these things are stupid expensive. Like the stuff you find is $600. It's like glass, and it's just too much. I'm like, dude, my kid's gonna break this shit. Like it is what it is, you know. Like that's just not worth spending that money. So I was like, what can I find? And knowing the material is going to be inexpensive itself, I was like, you can't tell me that I have to spend all this money. So that's why I was like pretty stoked on finding these. They're half off for $60, and I was just like, all right, well, happenstance. You guys helped because I texted you to say like, what do you like the look on? So yeah, I didn't build them. Hobby Lobby, and yeah, it's like a dream. I don't know. It's like a funny, euphoric feeling of just like,
put it on your Insta?
I did post it to Insta. Heck, I was telling Brad I went and like posted it to all the like I'm in a couple retro gaming Facebook pages and like posted it there, and just sort of like and like under this sort of selfish banner too of just being like, hey, I want to show people and stuff.
I mean, it's that's right. Then, the delivery gifts. That's right.
Yeah, but then also saying like, oh, like if you're looking for shelving, and there were a lot of comments on the post, and a lot of people engaged with it, and I think people did appreciate like the shelving shout out, because it's just like, hey, I don't know, like these are the really nice length for 64 and Super Nintendo games.
Yeah, I mean, you balanced it well too.
But the thing, like I was saying to Brad, like the things I bought today that are the display stands, I got the modern ones, which are meant for Dreamcast, PlayStation, whatever, but they actually seem to sell more of the cart only for Famicom, regular Nintendo, Super, whatever. So like, and it looks really good. The displays that they use are like bookcases, like bookshelves, if you will, and then you drop these like yay deep display stands, and then you do card only, but they're back to back, and so it looks really sharp and like really uniform to, again, I think sort of create that artwork feel, like even what you're saying, Brad, like that spin on how do you want it. I don't know, Tommy, I know you got a bunch of loose stuff too. I don't know if you'd have interest. It was $14 for one of these things. I got a 4-pack. But like if I weren't a CIB guy and I had seen those, I think I would be okay with doing card only with a display stand. Like it looked really good to me in the pictures they were showing, so I thought that was kind of cool.
I like doing a lot of CIB stuff when I can find it. Kind of like like I feel like I'm kind of between you guys, exactly what you were describing, where like Brad's like, yeah, I just like to play it if like if I can find the game to play it first and foremost, awesome. But it gets really tricky finding certain games CIB and in good condition too. If I can do it, great. But I also like if it's either get it and break the bank or just get just to play it. I am like, F it, just get it to play it. And so I kind of enjoy that aspect of it too.
Yeah, I also love. I mean, like I have a number of nieces and nephew, and it's funny like watching them. They're like old enough where they can kind of like play video games, and I'm like talking to Joshua, my nephew, who's 12 years old, and he's like, "What? Can we play Halo?" He's like just old enough where he can play Halo, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like there's like those guys, and I'm like the Flood, and he's like, yeah, they're like really really gross, and I'm like, yeah yeah, and then like we're talking, he's like, and then you have the other guy, I'm like the Covenant, like I'm like yeah yeah, it's like so cool like sharing like these video game
That's
like
cool.
story, yeah, like that's why I really like having like the retro systems where you can kind of play all the games quickly, like you can just cruise through them and share the gameplay with them, and like that's what I really enjoy, like sharing the Tony Hawk. Like we were on spring break and he was talking about skateboarding. He's like, yeah, he's a 12-year-old. Skateboarding's my life now, and I love skateboarding. And I'm so much into skateboarding. I'm like, all right, cool. Sounds cool, Josh. Like, have you ever played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater? He's like, what? Who's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater? And I'm like, oh, baby. I'm like, so I downloaded it, bought it for him, and I'm like explaining to him, like, do you know who Rodney Mullen is? He's like, what? And I'm just blowing his mind, sharing like all those video games that I used to play as a kid. He's like, you don't know anything about skateboarding. I'm like, Joshua, I was you before you were you.
Yeah, right.
I was like, he's like, oh yeah, I guess so. So I love sharing the video games, like what I grew up with him now too. So
It'd
yeah,
be curious, like I guess on just that topic of the collecting side, like like so my belief and the reason I collect CIB in both um the I don't collect super mint condition. I have been podcasts or people I have been around would say that that is the move, similar to artwork, uh,
Yeah, but
comics.
not
I
to cut
don't
you
I
off,
don't
but
buy it.
it's like grading cards. Like it's one thing if it's a baseball card. Like grading has its own issues in and of itself. But like when you grade a video game because it's never been opened, like you defeated the purpose of having it. It's not like a starting lineup or a McFarlane where you're like, or I mean even bobbleheads to some degree because it's like it's gonna sit on a shelf and do nothing. Cards,
Yeah.
discs, games like it's philosophy, and I get the collector argument, so I'm not trying to just totally like just poo-poo it, but like they're meant to be played. Like, and I mean, and that's the thing I really really like about how you build your collection. You're like, yeah, like if the box looked like somebody opened it to play the game, I'm good with that. Like that's the beauty of it. Like, yeah, you don't want it to look like it got ran over by a car, but at the same time, you're like, yeah, clearly this was used and it's in good condition. Win
yeah,
win.
and I love what you've done, Brandon. Like it's so cool that you have that collection. It just like takes me back to those feels when I would get like a game like that for Christmas or something when I was a kid, and it was like the greatest Christmas ever because I had like Star Fox, in the box, and you take it out of the box, and it was just like
Okay.
that's like one of the things that I really like about the nostalgia of like those feelings that you get when you would get the game you really wanted. Like I remember my dad's a lawyer and I remember when Mortal Kombat 2 came out and I'm like, Dad, you need to go to Best Buy and you need to get this game before it's all gone. And this is like the 8-year-old version or 10-year-old version of myself. Be like, Dad, like this is really serious. You need to go get this game. I don't have any money. You do. You need to make this happen. I don't care how you do it. Like you need to go get Mortal Kombat 2 so I can play this game and sleep at night, knowing that I
Genesis or
have.
Super?
It was for Super Nintendo, but yeah, yeah, I had it for both. I remember getting it like later for both because I loved it so much, and I would take system over to my friends and we'd play it. Man,
But
that game was so
but
great.
even from that collector perspective, remember like the old NES boxes? Did you guys ever like? I remember anytime we got one, we were like, "Oh, this is great." We played the game, we opened it, but then they always had that one little styrofoam brick in it, and my brother and I would always fight over who got to ninja chop it.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
remember
it's just
that's yeah.
Well,
now it's just like, whoa, wait, does it have the original styrofoam in it? And I'm like, anything that I had, absolutely not. Like, it was
yeah.
we got yelled at because we chopped it to pieces like enough where one of us chopped the other in the hand and we're like, "Ow, I hate you!" And then like my mom or dad would have to come in and like break up the fight because we tried to chop it too close.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess that's like kind of the to bring it back, like that's my mindset. So you guys are kind enough to say and like appreciate, like that's how I view it. And honestly, with like case protectors and stuff these days, like it can look really great. Like even the worst of boxes are like their shape is great. So I mean that in and of itself sort of mitigates a lot of the display quality side of things. But my curiosity is like in addition to that playability and look and feel, it's kind of like the bet I'm making is that there will be growing interest. I think that's part of it. In our age group particularly, I think that's a given. That's just my belief. But I'm genuinely curious about the long-term value. And my comparison is this, and it's not necessarily a apples to apples, but like my dad's a really big coin collector, like fairly notable nationally. Like, and he has all this money in coins, and like I'm like, Dad, you gotta get out. I'm like, there's no one wants coins is what I'm saying to him. And he's just like, you're wrong, it's this massive thing. And I do think coin collecting's big, but I'm like, it's a medium. People don't even use cash, let alone coins. Like there's going to be such a far disconnect
It's the
between
original NFT.
yeah. So it's like this is the thing you have, and I'm like, to me, for video games, you saying your 12-year-old like might have interest in playing a Tony Hawk or finds it novel. Like my bet in some regards is that like a 10-year-old today, and this is why I kind of bookend. I made a joke the other day that like, God, what was it? When there's no chips, like the chip shortage, I rest on my retro gaming hobby. When there are chips, I have esports. It's like I've covered both ends of the gaming spectrum. But the point being, like, if I think it's going to follow this road, gaming will be even bigger than it's ever been before for younger generations, albeit modern. But I have to believe that the question will be asked, where did it come from? And there'll be an incredibly compelling and interesting story to tell, particularly because a lot of it came out of Japan and these different places. And like that seems to be all the rage. And like I don't know. Do I think people are gonna play? Do I think they're gonna like play WrestleMania 2000? I'm gonna say not. Like there'd be no reason. They should, but like they don't know any of the wrestlers, you know, the Attitude Era, like whatever. But I do think if they're playing a modern wrestling game and they have interest, maybe they'll want to get the box out of like novelty. And I could be totally wrong. It could be like coins.
We'll see.
To
And a
them.
little bit like,
But
I mean, Dan's even touching on, he said that, you know, the Atari 2600 market, it finally kind of plateaued and is actually kind of contracted a little bit. But even to your point, in some of the events I've hosted, one of my favorite things is like I love doing Super Nintendo Mario Kart and then Switch Mario Kart. Or even if you do Wii or anything, like, and you see the generational gap and you see parent and kid playing essentially the same game, but the kid's like, oh my god, like this game is broke, it doesn't work, and then the parents like, no, you actually have to hit the buttons, and then you flip-flop systems, and they're like, yeah, wait, I don't get this, like, and the kid's just wiping the course with them because it's all motion controlled, and it's really just kind of like, it's kind of like, sometimes I feel like it's showing people, look, you're playing the same game, you're speaking the same language, you're just doing it in a different tense, almost literally, even a past to present, or however you want to look at it that way. And when you kind of connect people that way, instead of thinking they're speaking a different language in a gaming sense, you really see this, whether you want to say it's a light bulb going off, or just this relationship really kind of jumped to the next level.
Yeah, I will say this. Uh, I play Mario Kart. It's one of my favorite things with my nieces and nephew. We play Mario Kart in the summertime when we're all together up north in the cabin. And I will say this. I will take a bullet for all of them, but I would take a bullet for them first before I let them beat me at Mario Kart. I mean, I will never let them beat me at Mario Kart, you know? It's just like one of those things. It's like, no, choose the course you want to lose on. It's just like so much fun, like sharing those moments, like the games that I grew up playing with and with them.
So
It's
who was your
just,
favorite racer?
oh, and wait, which Mario Kart?
Well, we can go through them. Because I'm gonna bug you guys about 64. 'Cause we're gonna have to show off the 64 talents pretty soon, I think, too.
Yeah, 64. I'd probably go with Wario because he was just you start the heavy. I mean, it depends where you're racing. Yoshi is good for like the courses like DK Jungle where you kind of get if you go off the course you slow down. If like Wario, but Wario like you can't knock him off like his track and then he bounced like every time I tried to do the shortcuts he'd bounce well, and if you do the rocket start he just like blows everybody up, which is pretty good. So. He was my guy. He was a new character in that game too, so that was kind of cool.
I apologize, Tommy. I missed the question. I'm responding to Dan, and I'm really putting on my thinking cap about this topic because it's only been in my head, this dialogue, and all I am able to really hear are other podcasts, which are not interactive. So go Twitch, go TVMGC. On this topic of like the future of collectability of retro gaming, kart, CIB, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he was saying Atari 2600, like, right, like it's capped. It might be receding in some regards. And my question to him was just simply like, I'd be curious what retail sales were, assuming a lot, granted, I'm sure that like I would be curious units sold comparatively. And, he made a fair point about the fact that Nintendo continues on. I'm curious about things like gameplay, like N64 controller's a little bit difficult maybe to navigate for a non-native game player. But like the graphics are playable. I would say maybe the Atari 2600 wouldn't be, but that also might just be because it wasn't mine. Like, and they may be looking at the 64 going, that's not mine. So I think it's really fascinating.
So,
like,
I mean, there's absolute truth to that. What I would point out, though, too, and it was something I stumbled on because part collecting, part business, just part personal interest, was trying to find reliable N64 controllers. And Retro Fighters, while they don't make the classic style, they actually do it where they're built like new controllers, like the Xbox. Pretty much, like the Retro Fighter pretty much looks just like this, but it's a 64 controller. So you've got your joystick here, you've got your D-pad here, you've got all the 64 buttons, and then you got your L and R buttons like you would on 64, but triggers under both. So for like what L2 and R2 would be, are your Z trigger, which was usually the one that was tucked underneath. And so if you're used to the muscle memory of stuff like GoldenEye, it gets a little tricky that way, but at the same time, it's a super reliable controller. It's really, really light, which it feels almost too light in your hands. But it's reliable. You don't have to worry about some knockoff where, hey, every time I push up, it goes left. I push left, it goes left. I push right, it goes left. Like so much kind of junk on the market now where it's just aftermarket BS. The Retro Fighters ones are reliable, and they even have wireless ones now too, where you can plug it into your 64, and then it's total Bluetooth to the wireless same shape controller. But it's still the weirdest thing. Like even something so silly like, and as games evolve, we've all kind of gotten spoiled with them. I think whether you look, you're talking Call of Duty, and then you can go back to Halo. But for me, everything kind of started being able to aim and doing it with precision with GoldenEye.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there was a Wolfenstein, there was Doom and all those goodies. But GoldenEye really required that precision where you could just start giving lessons to people and be like...
Yeah.
And it
really
yeah.
It had the conditioning, like that, kind of lining it up and And then yeah, a lot of other games followed suit after that, but I will definitely agree that it was GoldenEye. And like I think you could do inversion too, right? In
You could,
GoldenEye
but like I mean,
with
like the
100%.
natural way it was actually whatever the like. I always think of it like Goofy Foot from you were bringing up skateboarding earlier. Remember Skate or Die for the NES?
Yeah.
Goofy Foot was the only way I knew how to play. Regular Foot was just like you felt like
Uh-oh.
this controller is broken.
Tommy, you still there?
Yeah, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Maybe the fireball blew up.
No,
Fireball.
I still see you
Uh,
guys.
yes. I heard Goofy Foot, and I was trying to think of which game you were going to reference. I was hoping it was 1080 snowboarding.
Still, no, I'm still here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay. No, I was actually going a little back further. Skate or Die on the NES.
Oh yeah, Skate or Die for sure. Yeah.
Yep. But it was
Oh,
like where regular Foot felt so weird, and like oh this controller's almost broken, just awkward. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know where I went out or what I did, but still here. Hopefully everybody can hear me. You guys are. We got a new follower. Thank you, Tranto. Welcome.
well,
welcome.
we're definitely not online anymore.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
offline. I see.
Uh,
You did. I was just about to school you on the
it
thoughts.
says we're still streaming everything on OBS. I'm seeing the chat. It says you'd like to make a comeback.
Hmm.
Dan
Yeah, I
said
don't see our
give up.
show anymore. Are we back? There we are. We're back.
Boom.
Boom.
So
Anybody
on
else
that,
having an issue? Like Dan, can you hear us?
we gained
Bob,
viewers.
we're
That's
good.
probably the issue.
Bob says we're good. Okay.
Cool.
Got
Sorry,
all
don't know
these-
what happened there. Nothing said to be stopped on this end.
So what I think it comes to mind, I will say like in my collecting journey to this point, I've never had any intentions of resale, but I will say that I validate a lot of the idiocy that goes on spending wise by a belief that like what I bought a year ago has gone up 40%, what I bought 2 years ago has gone up 80%, and I'm just kind of
Mhm.
like, well, it'll be fine. But it's kind of like, when you pay $105 for the game that we kicked this off for, Hydro Thunder, you're like, I think it's pretty cool. Do I think it's a $105 game? No. But do I like want it? Yes. And then it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, so that's kind of why I'm curious about the conversation. Like, if all of a sudden Hydro Thunder were $10, I'd be like, oh, rats. Like then I don't tell my wife even more. But like at the moment, I can just be like, the game collection value keeps going up. So I don't know. So that's why I'm kind of just genuinely curious about like the runway as well as could it continue to be an interesting collectible because I mean coins still continue on for the people that love coins because they're a real thing and they're tangible and you can use them in China and whatever blah 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 and silver's worth this and gold is worth this. Like I think video games is just like legitimately it's like a currency to me. I just think video games is a culture and a currency, and so I think like it
Yeah.
will continue to be popular in future generations, even for the retro stuff. But I don't know. The Atari 2600 thing is very intriguing. Like,
Yeah. I will say, how many games do you have in your library at this point now in your catalog? How many games do you think you have?
I can tell you. It's an interesting question. I'm wondering if we're froze again. Who knows?
I think Tommy had to take care of something.
Yeah, good games. Sorry, maybe it's just on my phone.
Sorry about that. I just plugged the Ethernet in just in case the Wi-Fi was giving us issues.
All right.
We got another new follower. Welcome, J-Tide. J-Tide T400.
What up?
Tranto's talking about some Battletoads Double Dragon for the Super Nintendo.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
The underrated game.
I just lost out on that game 2 nights ago because I need to get I hear that you get these snipers or something, like services that'll basically like buy games for you on eBay. Maybe I shouldn't get that. But I lose out all the time because I just forget. And there was like a Battletoads Double Dragon that went for like under $100, and I was like on it, and I was just like, oh, I missed out on that. Like, I want a Double Dragon game so bad. I have like a note, like, you know, when like you're in elementary school, they make you like write things to learn how to write. And so you like, you know, write various like journals. And in one of my journals, my dad gave me recently, I was reading through it, and in my journal, I was like, I love going to my dad's because I play Double Dragon. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, so I really want to get a Double Dragon to represent that memory. I also, during that trip, was given 2 printed pieces of paper, the cheat codes for Triple Play 2000 and Jurassic Park Lost World for PlayStation. Those are the 2 printed piece of papers I had in my dad's collection, and so I first have those now on the PlayStation box.
Yeah.
But
I think it was like Game Informer or something that released like all the babalities and the friendships for Mortal Kombat 2. I had them like all written down and folded up, and I remember for the longest time, like, I always had that piece of paper, and it survived for many years in the cartridge itself. I think for the Sega Genesis. So yeah.
Have you guys seen? They just did it, and I think their sales special was kind of wrapping up. But have you ever played Double Dragon Neon? And I know Limited Games did a collector's package of it. But it was also like, it was one of those things where they updated the graphics, but it kept the classic arcade style of it, where you could jump in and button mash and play the Double Dragon that you knew, whether it was 1 or 2, mostly like that. 2 really adopted the arcade really well, I think, between the co-op and everything that way. But it was just, they offered so many little extras where even if you were just playing it online and the downloaded and the cloud copy as opposed to the limited run games version of it, like, it was pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
So for the record, for Trent now's question of what's the eBay rate for Double Dragon Battletoads, right now it's about $1.80, $1.60, according to Game Value now, which makes me all the more angry that I lost out on one for $87. But maybe to the point of additional commentary, maybe I should just stop counting on the fact that I'll literally pay anything for a CIB copy of a game, assuming it will be worth 10x more in 5 years. And I don't know. Maybe it'll be true, maybe it's not. But I just, like, I'm interested to continue to read the commentary, but I just think, here we go. Dan's got something on it. Okay, here's my quick thoughts on the market. Market's crash. Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, even the 2600, there's what is the company that's doing that? Like, they're doing this high-end Atari. I forget what it's called. But you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Where it's like HD, and you can buy the Xbox wireless version of the Atari controller, and like all this, like, and it's cool, but it's like, look, if you're not putting Lynx and Jaguar and 2600 and everything onto it, it's like, why is it really worth it? No, it's not a Hyperkin. It's it'll be a Google. I'll look it up really quick.
Hyperkin. So I think Dan makes a good point, and of course he would, because the man is well-read and well-researched and knows more than I ever will.
VCS.
Nice. But I do think, so I think there's also an interesting, and I'm a novice, 2 years into the hobby, 2-3 at this point. We're talking about the excitement we have around this channel, around the possibility of having the show have episodes, because when we go out and look for content, it's somewhat underserved, or it's like, I'll say fledgling. It's like, I think there's been an explosion, but it's still somewhat amateur, so no one's like taking the lead for podcasts, for YouTube channels. But like, I think that our age range is in the range to create that content. So I almost wonder if like the system can eat itself that's where I think like in our age range, the ascent will continue. I think about like, this is a long fleeting thought, but like LeBron James, you always get these pictures of like, oh, remember LeBron back in the day carrying his PS2 and Grand Theft Auto on a flip phone and at the WWE thing? And I'm like, yo, KD, LeBron, like all these dudes are around this generation who grew up on those first-gen consoles. And I'm not saying that like they're going to go out and all of a sudden get into the retro gaming market. They got better things to do with their lives. But like, I think it's indicative of like, there's money and there's people that I think are going to get into this space that have yet to but I think that the increase in content and awareness, and now perhaps this spiked market, that I think will intrigue people. And the fact that, like, and Tommy, we're so blessed that, Carcade is represented here by my belief that, like, nostalgia is our generation's greatest drug, like, in a manner of euphemism. Like, the moment it's in the game, the moment the N64 thing pops up, people they say they gotta pee a little. Like,
it was honestly my
real.
favorite review of the thing. Like, the guy was like, "Yeah, I didn't believe it," and I had to come out and see it. And I mean, like, the best example I can always give even of that is the last time we were at the MGC and we were set up, like, right as soon as you come up the escalator, like right there. And there was a bridal show, and so everybody was like, kind of, it's the meme of, like, the girl dragging the guy, and then, like, he's looking back at the other girl as they were going to the bridal show. But they were like, the guy was looking back like, oh my god, there's video games back there, I want to go there instead. Or speaking of GoldenEye, like, you would hear that da 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 da, and it would be pure meerkat effect. Like, people, you could see everybody pop up as soon as that little notes hit, and they'd be like, where is it? I hear it, I want to find it. And I mean, it's like, it's what the MGC is great for. It's, for me, it's something that's enjoyable because anytime I get to set up and even just go outside, just like tailgating Friday, like, I was just like, all right, I didn't have anything booked, I'm gonna go to a Brewers game and just hang out and play some RBI baseball. And people knew the sound of the game, and they're like, oh my god, really? Like, you've got to be kidding me. And I'm just like, yeah, just jump in, play. Like, you're gonna kick my ass most likely, but totally do it. Like,
that's not true at all.
Oh, dude, RBI was the only. I was trying to find the Brewers in it because Milwaukee's not in it. So I took
Milwaukee's
the All-Star team. Molitor I found, but I'm not sure if there was a Schrader, but I don't know if Bill Schrader made the All-Star team.
I just remember the first RBI that the Boston Red Sox were better than, like, the All-Star teams. They were so loaded. Roger Clemens could throw like 200 miles per hour, and he could throw a complete game and also collect 2 base hits. And then you had, like, Tony Armas, Ellis Burks, Wade Boggs, Bill Buckner. Those teams were that team was loaded. So, yeah,
but
man.
I mean, but it's to, like, everything we've been discussing, like, retro's right here. Just do it and do it right and do it well.
Yeah, and like I said, it's something about, like, those games, like, having that physical game going, opening that packaging, or just like when if you're walking into the ballpark and someone happened to walk past, your carcade, and they hear the sound effect of the base, when you throw that breaking ball, like those sound effects are so triggering. The nostalgia triggering from
Pavlovian almost
games. Yeah, totally Pavlovian response, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to play this game. I actually need to play this game, and then go into the Brewer game in, like, the 3rd inning. Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, we got kicked out of the park. Awesome. They're like, you guys are really kind of pushing it at this point. Like, hurry up and move on in. So, I mean, it was cool because we got our time worth of it. And, like, honestly, but, like, this is the beauty of it, too, because it's not just an era-based thing. To me, it was one of the coolest things. There was a kid, probably 7 years old max, like a little family that came up, and he brought his little fold-up chair and just plopped, and he's like, play Mario 3. I love Mario. And so, like, I'm literally just playing Mario, and he's like, oh, I know this level, go here, go that. But then he's also seeing, like, oh, I'm dropping the white block and doing the warp whistle, and you can see him react like, I didn't know that. And then for us, it was stuff that, like, we had a Nintendo Power that showed us every little nook and cranny of the game. That was just like, this is how you get to it, or this is how you do it. And to even see the new generation of gamers still appreciate really well done old school games. No, Dan, when tailgating, like, you have to be in by the 3rd inning anyway. So that's when they didn't kick us out, they kicked us in ways.
Kicked us in.
They kicked you in?
That was a training day reference. I got my pushed in, man.
Big time, bro.
Big time, bro. Yeah. I mean, I think, like, I would toot, like, my own thinking about all this, but I think what it will continue to take, and this I think is a legitimate, I don't know if it's a concern would be too strong, but this is a real deal to me, is just that like you need to engage. People need to connect. They need the Midwest Gaming Classic. They need shows like this where you can interact. Like the culture needs more interactivity. You can't just live on eBay and in your basement with like, people got to live it, got to play it, got to enjoy it. That's what makes me think we're at like and again, I'm only 2 years into it, but like that's what makes me think we're on the ascent for us, because I just don't think people have had the time yet to really get to that deep nostalgia. I mean, I've been having a hell of a time with turning 35 and realizing what age and what life stage I'm in, and it like I got to assume a lot of elder millennials are in that same spot, and so I just think there's going to be a really intriguing movement when that happens, and that's why like even to what you're saying, Brad, like I don't know if it'll all be games. Like I don't know if it's
Well, so,
maybe it will be, maybe it's loose, maybe it's CIB. But like I look at the CIB stuff and it's just the artwork is so cool. It just gives me hope that like this is just cool stuff. If you're just a fan of culture and you like whatever the newest PS5 game is or whatever the newest like, Xbox thing is, like I think you're gonna go back. But I don't know.
And this is what I would find very, very interesting if like the Milwaukee Art Museum at some point they had like an exhibit and it's like the Nintendo exhibit. Like this is an original concept art for this game, and like you have this artwork inspired by this famous artist. That'd be a really cool exhibit because I would check that out. Like they have like installations on the walls. They have never before seen footage of what a certain game was. Like that stuff was really interesting. Watching some of those documentaries because you grow up with these ideas of what these games are, and then like seeing them as an adult and like sharing with a younger audience. I think that'd be such a great idea for the Milwaukee Art Museum to like figure out a way to get in, and they'll be blowing you up about your collection, Brandon. They'll be like, hey, we need to think of clever ways to really show like a Nintendo collection. Come on. I mean, like, that'd be so cool.
I think someone would have to bring them to that from what I know about them, like they're just like, we have the building, come bring us your things, which is again, it would be, there's a lot of intriguing stuff with it. I think, Discovery World would be cool. I think it would do well. I think people would enjoy it. We'll see. I mean, time will tell, but.
Milwaukee Art Museum, get your stuff together. Get that Nintendo exhibit in there.
Well, not only that, BK, I know you we go back and forth as far as Tecmo even, and obviously there's a little bit of my involvement in Brew City Bowl and everything like that, but like people have asked me like, can kids play? I'm like 100%, like yeah, like it's exactly how you keep these games going, and the great thing is like even seeing like guys bring their son, like guys are super serious about the event, the game, playing it very competitive, but then they bring their kids in too, and their kids are starting to school some of the older guys, and then the older guys get salty like, yeah, well, he's using a different controller or this or that, and it's like you get to see the young like the new generation of gamers playing even the old and the classic stuff and doing really, really well at it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's cool. The beauty of it. Like anybody can pick up the controller. There's no that's the beauty of esports. There's no age limit. There's no gender. There's no background. It's like, can you pick up the sticks and be good at the game? Great. Good, go.
Yeah.
Well, and like the ebbs and flows of collectibles to me comes to mind. Again, baseball cards, coins, magazines, arcades, baseball, just trading cards at the moment are bedlam, right? And it's like, why? Well, some community is causing that. Coins, who knows, just seems like a consistent, video games in its time is probably in a relative infancy. As Dan's alluding to, there's been spikes in price and market changes and stuff, but like, I think it would have at minimum a 15-year run left in like going on a downward slope, and I think it could have up to a 25-year run where like I just remember when like my dad was in his 50s and all of a sudden a Mickey Mantle card went for X thousands of dollars, and it was like, oh, I used to put that in my bike spokes, and then all of a sudden He's like, oh, I'm gonna go get a Gale sale. And he got into it because of course you get speculative and all the rest. And then like we've had some big sales in this, market that are crazy to kind of bring it in. But like that's just my curiosity is like, hey, I think there's a pretty decent run in that. The only question is just that people are going to be willing to shell out hundreds of dollars, and that's my curiosity for things. I think that they're not. I don't think everyone's going to go WADA graded. I don't think everybody's going to go, I need to have a 9 or 10. I think actually if you can like replicate what I've got, which is under $10,000, like I think there's a lot of people with Bucks out there that might have interest in it. And like he mentioned, Dan Lopez, Brooke Lopez, he's a huge nerd and he's a big pinball guy. I think a few of those dudes, when they get a little bit more time on their hands, are going to dive into this because I think it would be culturally, there's a lot of, even in like the urban culture, I think video games were huge and still are huge. Like we're just a bunch of 3 white dudes, but like there's a big culture out there too that played video games all their lives that may have interest in displaying collectibles. And so, I don't know, maybe taking a point from trading cards, the arcades, like this kind of cyclical nature of these things. I mean, video games sold a lot of units, like millions, I don't know how that compares to Matchbox cars or whatever else, but like there was a lot of video games and it was the first thing a whole generation had done that was interactive. You were literally in the game. You could play and you were doing things you could have never done before, It's just very curious.
And there's different aspects to it too, because you can either do the, hey, I want it complete in box, or I want the cart so I can plug it in to my old ass Sega Genesis and play it. I mean, you have, hey, I'm lucky if it has a remnant of the sticker, or hey, the sticker and the box and the plastic, is it all in mint condition? I mean, you have so much of that spectrum where you can play with it, and there is that flexibility to it. There's the $8 market for the cartridge. There's the $100 market for the CIB, and then the $400 stuff where it's graded. I mean, and so you can fall anywhere in there. Gamers can fall anywhere in there. Budgets can fall anywhere in there, and even if you don't have that budget per se to spend it in an eBay or a collector shop or wherever, you can still do it where it's like the Nintendo like online market where they've got the NES games and the Super Nintendo games and anything just there to play. And I mean, it's the funny thing. Do you ever watch any of the old videos where it's like they make kids play like the original Mega Man or something like that? They're like, this game is too hard. What? This is stupid. And you're like, yeah, this was like the easy one we got. Like, speaking of Battletoads earlier, I mean, it wasn't like you had to suffer through that. Like, I remember like I played Ninja Gaiden on the NES Classic, and I'm like, thank God for this save point, because if I'd have played this on the original cart, I would have broke it. Like, I mean, it was the evil genius of the developers and how the final boss played out. But at the same time, I'm like, F this noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And even Transom, he's like, Contra is hard as AF.
It is.
Like, that's try to play without the 30 guys. Play with just the 3.
It's really hard.
We talked about Driver. You can't get past the first level.
Real
yeah,
talk.
it'll be intriguing, but I'm grateful for the platform to discuss it. Of course, like when you're deeper into it, you get more attachment to it. You create new memories around things, which is pretty cool. You obviously do that with Carcade in a big way, Tommy. And I think like, our kids will see it, will be exposed to it. So there's a lot of that kind of going on. I have a speculation and have interest myself even in like, I think there's going to be more retail space in the future. And that really varies. I've heard, counter opinions to that, and not necessarily as much like retail space to sell games, but I think the same as everything else, like hybrid, play, sell, entertainment in terms of beverages, etc. And like, you look at the barcades and all the other ones and up, down, and like there's a vibe there too, but that's largely arcade. And I think there's console gaming opportunity in but you'd have to do it in like a barcade up-down fashion. Like, you'd have to drop serious cash.
We'll
in
stick
my
a
opinion.
flag in that one. We'll come back to that one.
To which one?
There may be something in the works in that regard.
Yeah. I just think, like, you got to do it right, and it's not cheap. Like, it isn't just, like, set up some chairs necessarily, in my opinion. Like, I know...
No, you have to, like... You have
gotta-
to provide that environment. Yeah, absolutely.
I can't even find the right frickin' upscalers, so God bless the people that can, you know? But,
So speaking of things we got, one is actually one of those. I think it's called Portaholic or Portaholic. It's a Wii up converter that I got, which is nice because you can up convert Wii games and GameCube without going totally broke. And it just plugs right into the back of the Wii like normal or whatever. But yeah, Portaholic. So this is what it just arrived today or whatever. Plugs right in the back, and it's perfect for HDMI. I've had zero problem with it whatsoever. And speaking of I didn't get too many games this week or, since our last stream, but my one little splurge was not quite a little splurge, but I was really excited to get it, was this.
oh, wow. Oh, look at you.
Oh, nice.
It was just like it was there, and I'm like, oh my god, like it was a good deal. It's his autograph always kind of changes too, which is, I mean, if anybody, speaking of the collectible market, kind of the same deal. But it was just like, I ended up finding it game 5 or game 6 of the Net series, and I'm like, yes, done. And I scooped it for like $200, which not chump change, but like for a Giannis autographed jersey, I'm like, I'll take that.
Heck yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
How are you gonna display it, or what's your plan for
Frame?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to a good framer in Brookfield off Capitol Drive at Jeff's Collectibles, I think the place is called. There's a little frame
Jeff
shop in there.
Sports.
Yeah, that's
Jeff
that's the one I kind of heard too. And is that a franchise or is it like a couple different locations?
It's just two. It's a guy and his dad. Yeah, Jeff.
So like the thing
pretty
back here, I got all that framed by them. I got 4 other pictures framed over there. Like, she does nice work. Takes like a month, but at least I've always had great success with them. So
nice, very cool. Yeah, it was just the framing's kind of like the next step, but it was just like once I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, like, I mean, how are you gonna pass up the Giannis autograph that way? I was just like, it was like, all right, it's ramen for the rest of the week. Fine, I'm good with that.
well, are we on what we're buying, what we're selling, what we're playing? Are we on that section now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of been jumping, but I think we're kind of flowing into that. Dare I say we're figuring out this whole streaming. It's not quite the fiasco that it was previously.
Yeah, that part's legit. We're really good at babbling on, so I'm down for that.
The fireball is actually pretty chill.
And we even think it's recording? Good God, what's happening here?
We'll find out. Once we stop, we'll kind of figure out. I know there's been a little intermittent stuff. We'll have to kind of figure out what that is, but it's set to record, so, I mean, if not, we'll figure it out in episode 5.
So, because this is my only platform to do so other than my Instagram post, because the topic of our conversation today was racing games, I pulled out my racing games that I have, so I'm going to share them with you now. I have Wave Race, which I think we talked about. Player's Choice Edition, but
no, we talked about Jet Moto. So Jet Moto.
We did talk about
and
Jet Moto. I was thinking about that.
Similar, but both were really good.
Yep. We got Star Wars Episode Racer 1, another game I played on PC mainly, but 64 version is cool. Harder than I remember, but fun. Of course, the one we all know, Mario Kart. No surprises there.
So like Brad said, he was a Wario guy. Who was yours?
Let me see. I think I'm always Wario too, actually. I'm always a big guy. I'd say I'm probably Wario.
See, I always went with Mario just because I liked the balance. Like,
Yeah.
little bit of everything. You get your
like
ass
this
kicked, like you said. If you get bumped by the big guy, you're kind of screwed. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I
This
want to
one,
say some guys were better though than others for some of the shortcuts too. Like Mario Raceway, you could like jump over half the level with like a
oh,
yeah.
Or
Ooh,
Wario
exciting.
Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So Excite Bike, that one's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Terrible
that
game.
was a really good remix.
This was the recent one that came in, Hydro Thunder.
Mm.
So I played this. I did sit down and play a little bit of this game, and it was really fun. So I actually have to say, like, in terms of if I was going to get to have the homies over, like if you guys were to come over, we were going to, like, play some foreplay or something or other, I would actually probably say that I would throw in Hydro Thunder. The controls were really good. Like, graphics were pretty fun. So I kind of dug that. So just food for thought. And then, yeah, I pulled out a couple PSers. I don't know if this counts as
Oh, absolutely. Well,
Ooh,
twist
of
them. Yes,
course.
yes.
Nice pull.
Quick
Is
answer,
that
yes.
Axel?
It definitely counts.
Axel?
Axel,
Yeah.
Axel, Twister, such a good game. Still
That
love it.
game was awesome.
This
What was
one I
the-
don't even
that
know.
Dark Tooth? Dark Tooth?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think I got this in like a bundle. So, I don't know.
Nice.
And then, yeah, the other one was just Need for Speed Underground. So those were the Undriver, which we already talked
Hydro
about.
Thunder was great. Do you remember? I'm trying to remember. It's probably buried somewhere. Rallycross. I think it was Rallycross for PS.
Not ringing a bell for me. I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
Like,
I hope Hydro Thunder's not two-player. I just assumed it was four.
yeah,
It says
that's what I was
split
gonna ask
screen
too. I'm like, if
Split
it's 2 or
screen
4,
mode
like,
can support up to 4 players simultaneously, it says. So,
nice. All right, what do you guys think about Tranto's comment? He's like, where we stand on the arcade cabinets with like Raspberry Pi mods and building in all the stuff into one.
I'll say I just went through a pretty sobering reality when my friend was selling those arcade cabinets. I just realized I can't fit them in my basement, straight up. Like, the space I have, it ain't going to work. And so I'm like, I have to get Arcade 1-Up. Like, and interestingly, they did, apparently at E3, they announced it, and I did follow up on their Insta. They just, Ninja Turtles, they're coming out with, and The Simpsons, which were 2 of my favorite arcade games. So I genuinely think if I were going to buy, and X-Men too. So X-Men, like, Ninja Turtles, and I'm just like, oh, I love them. And so, like, right back in the corner back here, I want to get maybe 2, maybe 3 of these Arcade 1-Up things to, like, play, knowing full well that, like, you can't play 4-player on those things. They're too small. But I have no other
T-Rex
options.
it.
Yeah, so I kind of, to his question, like, I would be 1,000% hands down, even in for a refurbished, like, arcade cabinet. Like, I think, obviously, Dan does some stuff with, but, like, I can't fit it. So for me, it's like I'm not, unfortunately, going to be able to do, like, original, which sucks. How do you guys feel?
I'll let Brad go, and then I'll come in with the boring answer.
I mean, I feel kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about it. Tommy, how do you feel about it? I'm interested to see what your take is on this.
So, the Raspberry Pi, I can appreciate, like, wanting to try and play all the games that way.
Mm-hmm.
The Arcade 1-Up does an job of them. I mean, because like we said, you're playing it on a small monitor that's not great quality. People can hack them and mod them, and they're very modifiable, which is great for that purpose. But having also wrote for a video game law blog and kind of knowing the ins and outs of the copyright law and everything as far as Raspberry Pis and everything go as far as software, gaming, everything that way, it's not something I recommend. Like, there's a joy to, even in the collecting, like, hey, like, this is the actual copy of Project Gotham we were playing today. It wasn't Xbox on the emulator and I just, like, ported it into OBS or anything.
Right, right.
And so, I mean, there's the collector value of it. There's, like, I can't turn off the legal value of it just given my background and everything that way. But at the same time, like, there's certain things where I can appreciate it, whether, like, even if you look at it from, like, DMCA stuff to, like, downloading music and, like, oh, I like this music, or oh, it's trash, and then going out to buy the album and actually supporting the artist. In this case, the developer, like, That would be my suggestion. And yes, there's a big machine behind it. I'm not naive to that as far as developer and then giant game company. The same way there's recording artist and major record label or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the
yeah,
same time,
Dan,
like
Dan,
you have to like give that due respect. Like that person put hours and hours and hours into it, and even whatever their contract situation was for coding and building and writing the game, that's kind of what it is. And so that's, I mean, it's my 2 cents, and anybody can feel free to say, Tommy, you're an idiot for that. But it's just like there's like to me it's why I do everything disc based. It's the most legit. It's the most real, and I don't want to say most honest because I don't want to say the other would not be, but like authentic is the best word, I think.
Yeah, yeah. We see Dan's take too. Yeah, no, it's yeah. I mean, it's really interesting getting everyone's takes on that, and I still feel indifferent about it, but those are all good quality takes.
Yeah, like the controls thing is super legit. I mean, there's, it's slow, laggy, all the stuff. So, yeah, if I could have
just
some
sucked.
arcades.
Like they had shit controls. They sucked. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what was the one we were Bulls vs Blazers? Great, like, I mean, perfect example. Legit game, legit cart, HDMI, like full HD Sega Genesis port version, like from the console, and it runs like, please end this game, please finish it now, and like can we switch over to watching paint dry or something, because it's probably at least as equally entertaining as watching me trying to dribble around a guy in slow motion with Chris Mullen before he does this clanking shot off a rim.
I'll be curious with like the arcade one-ups, because I know Dan said he's got a couple. Like, so what I think I will like out of them the most is I'm hopeful just the audio. Like, what I want is to have 2 or 3 here that, like, when you guys come over or I have my little turnies or we're just hanging, I could just turn them on and they could just make the background noise. Like, you know what I mean? Like it would be at an arcade. Like, I don't actually need to play them. I hope maybe I can. I hope a couple of buddies, if we wanted to like try it, or we could play at the same time while people are at the bar and somebody's watching some TV or a game. I'm like, I just want the experience to be immersive. I want games on the TV. I want arcade things to be playable. I want a tourney to be happening on the 64. Like, and I think it should provide that. But if nothing else, just to hear the music, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, and so like Dan's kind of touching in. He's like, the arcade one-ups for games, but it has to do with the space, the actual controls and feel. And yeah, you can't beat... I mean, it's what, for stupid Nintendo reference, just because it popped in my head, the NES advantage. Like, yes, there's certain something to the controller, but when you have the joystick and you're hitting the actual arcade buttons and that kind of feel, let alone when it's in a proper machine and not just, hey, it's this little thing I'm setting on my lap. That's the beauty of it. I mean, that's gaming at its purest.
Truth.
For sure.
Okay. So we're coming up on 11:30. I feel like we wanted to go a couple hours. Maybe let's try to wrap it up by 11:30 p.m.
That'll work.
That sounds good.
So we touched on the tourney. What were you? I know we mentioned it a little before. What were you thinking to play?
Man, that's the question. So I feel like I learned a really valuable lesson from my winter tournament this past year, where I tried to play virtual 2K tennis and NBA shootout, or no, something for 64.
Showtime?
Oh,
Showtime or
Showtime.
Hang Time?
Yeah. Showtime. So what I learned was that was a mistake, because the year before I had done NBA Jam and Mario Kart, which everybody just jumped right into. The tournament times lined up, actually ran them simultaneously with the same people and back-to-back. It was great. And this year I didn't think we finished the tournament because, like, you drink, and also people were just kind of like, virtual tennis, like they couldn't get into it. I like tried to take them too deep down the rabbit hole of gaming because I thought it'd be super fun. So as I think about this summer iteration of the tournament, which again, 16 people max out here at the farm, like homies, we can live stream it, like bring out Carcade, like do it right. because it's going to be outside, which I think would be cool.
And a grill. Grill out while we play. I mean,
oh yeah.
Yeah. If we do it in Camp Chalker, I'll have a fire going. I mean, we'll do it right. Like, it'll be legit. If it was raining, we can bring it up and pull it to the garage. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be homies. I think it'll be a very, very good time. And I don't know. I think what I have been finding is racing is cool. So I had actually thought of, man, like Mario Kart just makes it so easy because it's just like there's different like courses and there's a 4-part thing and there's points and it's just like, damn, so easy and everyone knows it. I did play Hang Time recently because I just got that and I saw you had it the other day, Tommy. That one is about as close to NBA Jam Super Nintendo, and I've even got this NBA Jams for 64 and they're not the same. So I actually like Hang Time would be a very high candidate in my opinion.
The Hang Time you saw was I have it for Genesis as well, but the one you saw was 64.
Okay. So yeah, I mean I'm kind of just thinking it would be or just doing a straight up Mario Kart only. And like just calling a spade, making it fun and just letting like people have fun.
Well, yeah. Even for the Mario Kart one, that's why I'm excited about the league that I'm kind of organizing too. Is you can do all the cups, you can do all the different battle stages, and then just it's Mario Kart. It's very, very easy to say, good luck having fun with Mario Kart 64. It doesn't require too much arm twisting in that regard.
Tratno, welcome, my man. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome, man. Yeah, hopefully we catch you around and catch you back here, and let us know. Like I said, I mean, we kind of touched on this, and I think we're getting to it as we near 11:30. But if there's games that you guys want to see us play, let us know. Find us on any of the social media connects. Throw it in the chat, because we're always just trying to find something whether it's something we found online that we collected, something we were able to scoop up, or just a game that like came up in mutual conversation that we're like, God, I haven't played that in forever. Let's get into it and watch me embarrass myself as I try to avoid cones in Gotham or whatever.
That was the worst. You definitely showed up better in Maximum Carnage than you did in Project Gotham 2 tonight.
But Gotham was better than Bulgers Blazers, so like I think we're kind of finding where my tearing is.
I don't know if the music was as good, but it definitely had its vibe. It was nice. It's nice to go up and down the spectrum. I think we'll think about next time for games because I like the music, man.
And
I love.
We're jumping between consoles too, which is what I love. I mean, we've done 60. We did Genesis. We've done. I want to say, did we do a 64 yet?
I don't know if we did.
We did Super Nintendo. We've done Xbox now. I mean, we can throw a Dreamcast in here. Like, and even, like, you brought up tennis. Remember 2K2 tennis?
Yeah.
That was a great tennis game. Like, as silly as it sounds.
That's why I tried to play it, Tommy. That's why I tried to have it in my tournament, because I was playing it, and I was like, this is really good. I'm like, this is a fun game. Like, this will be fun to play. Was on Dreamcast, yes.
Yes.
4-player, doubles. I got the Serena Williams Venus one. So good. It's really fun.
It plays really, really well, yeah.
Did you ever play Topspin? Do you remember Topspin for Xbox?
Topspin was great, too.
Topspin was good. That was Xbox, right?
Yeah, it was Xbox.
But, like, I think I love tennis games. And so what I learned was if Brad and Tommy came over, we could probably play some 2K tennis. If it's just my random friends who, like, game once a year with me, they're like, But it's like, that is a good system and a fun game to play.
We could even do sets like, set 1 would be like Wii Tennis, set 2 would be 2K Tennis, set 3 would be Topspin. Like,
yeah, it's pretty cool. That'd be fun.
But yes, for the tourney that I'm hoping to hold in the summer with just some homies at the farm here, I think, we'll see. I mean, it might be simultaneous side-by-side Mario Kart and just let it be. That's because I genuinely think it'll be fun to stream and have fun with. But, like, we're just going to have beers and make it a good time. What I'm trying to do is sort of, like, bookend summer and winter tourney and just have two because I think it's fun and it's the right time. And honestly, Carcade is a big part of that. Like, when I thought about how fun it would be, I first thought I'd just bring a TV outside and hook up my 64, and I'm like, what am I thinking? Like, the answer is here. Like, so
two TVs is so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will
so
say
just-
for games that I'm planning to buy, I haven't bought a lot recently, but Mario Golf came out last Friday.
Oh.
Mario Golf came out last Friday,
On the
which
Switch,
I
yep.
wanna play, for the Switch. And then when Halo Infinity when that drops, I'm definitely gonna check that out for sure. Looking forward to that.
So all right, so like everybody that's still in the chat, you have one game to start a tourney with. So it's got to be multiplayer. So Dan, Tranto, like what do you guys like? What should be the game that like we include? Like we've talked tennis, we're talking Mario Karts, and Dan especially like because he's like bringing people in, and I feel like he's got to be an invitee at this point.
I hope if he's willing to come out and have some beers,
If he's willing to show up, yeah.
Do you
and
like
back
beers,
up the
Dan?
talk.
Yeah, it's true. Just because off the topic of tourney, because we're at 11:29, we didn't get into buy yourself, but I have to show you guys my Rumble pack box.
Wow,
Very nice.
that's ballin'.
Wii bowling.
Yeah,
Oh, Bob.
Wii bowling, the Wii Papa Shot. Remember Papa Shot? Or like the dart game, like that miscellaneous. The Wii bowling and the Papa Shot. That was awesome.
Wherever, whatever you want to host the tourney in, Dan. He likes fruity drinks. I'm more of a tequila guy myself. So, like, we can leave the beers to a few others. We'll find a good tequila. I'll throw some fruit punch in it if you want.
Yeah, jam is good. Bob has a nice talks on jam. I mean, I that there are go-tos.
There's go-tos.
So what'll work, and maybe that's just the move. I actually like the lock-in thing that MGC's doing. Like I think actually for myself, humbly, I'm at the point of wanting to just maybe dive in a bit deeper to gaming in that way. But this will certainly be both fun as well as just like a nice crew that'll have a good time. And it'll be good. It's a good squad. Periscope pinball. Great work. Oh, Lord. All right.
Sweet.
I want to stay true to our 11:30 because my son will wake up at 5 a.m. either way. So
And before we do sign off, I did want to apologize. I know we didn't get to Rygar again this week, but hopefully next week.
Are we back next Wednesday then, or next Thursday? We're on Wednesday?
We're going to go back to Thursday, I think.
We're going to go back to
Depending on
Thursday
Bucks
next
schedule,
Thursday?
We're trying to
Okay.
work with. So if people do want to watch the game, us included, obviously, be able to, whether it's go down to the Deer District or just kind of chill at home and watch it. And that way, there's not a conflict of, like watching us or doing that or staying up way too late if we're trying to get it in after the game.
That sounds like a good plan.
and if they play like
Rush,
they did last game, I
Good
want to.
call. Rush
Yeah, I
2049.
agree. I'll be the same way, BT. I'll be like, okay, we're 4 air balls into the first quarter. It's going to be hard to watch.
I would not be able to do this after a Bucks loss. I would just be like, I am depressed. I have nothing to say. I'm angry.
Let's just watch some video games then. I mean, we just could check it out.
But that is the good news of this week. Again, no ligament damage.
Yes.
Yeah. Big moves.
No ligament damage from the game. None from Gotham Racing 2. I'm still healthy from that. The cars were not damaged. I mean, I think we're checking all the boxes. We're good to go.
The driver was definitely concussed. You did slam straight into a couple
Dude,
walls.
the driver was concussed for real.
Yeah.
No
airbags went off.
We had to
No airbags
bring
went
in
off.
a
And that guy was not wearing like the Hans device.
He was
That guy-
buckled in
where
though.
the
I mean,
driver-
safety first. Safety first.
Yeah.
Dude, so many Ferrari Enzos broken on these laps. Or
It was
whatever.
Eddie Griffin was back at it. No, the Enzo was fine. The Enzo was on the test course. It was what was the first? It was a different Ferrari. The
Whatever
GTB.
it was.
The GTB. The gone in 60 seconds one. That's right.
I'm just like watching the fragmented bits on my computer screen and just watching you slam into like walls and like go the wrong way. And I'm like, well, he showed his records at the beginning, so I don't know, but like, it's just so great.
Just
And you were
gotta
so
shake the
cavalier
rust
about it.
off a little bit. That's
You're
all. Just
so-
had to shake the rust off.
So cavalier. You're just like,
Throw it in and play it. I mean, that's what they're for. Just put it in and.
Oh,
hit
I
play.
loved it. I really enjoyed it. That was quite fun. All right.
All right. So
Dope.
Yeah.
as always, they know where to find you. You guys want to kind of quick recap?
Yeah, MKE Game Collector on Instagram. Please stop by. I enjoy commentary and conversation, and I post a decent amount of stuff on there, including some video of new games that I buy. So please, anytime, come by. Let's have some dialogue.
Yeah, all those same things for me too. You can find me at Brad_Craw on Instagram.
And if you guys are interested, I'm always looking for somebody to play, even online, PS, Xbox, at Ludio1. Same thing on pretty much all the social media as well. So by all means, follow, comment, taunt. I'm happy to run with pretty much whatever. So thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next time for sure. Thanks again, Bob. Thanks, guys, everybody in the chat for participating and everything. We'll hang around for a few minutes, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for playing. Thanks for watching.